Yeah, you know what it is. Welcome to the best coast. Yo, it's Bronze Age nerd with that collecting elite. Bigby McFly steady bringing the vintage heat. Pull up a seat, we diving in the stacks. Silver to the bronze, got the knowledge on tap. From Kirby's Kings to the mutants, wow. We breaking it down in that laid-back style. So grab your snacks, let the panels unfold. This is comic book chilling with the stories we told. Comic book vibes, we flipping them pages. Legends and lore from all the ages. Golden to the modern, we talk that news. With Bigby McFly and the nerd cut loose. Yo, you tune into that Bronze Age flow. Where comics live and legends grow. Bigby McFly in the cut, let's fly. Best coast, baby, comics are what saved me. Big, yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Best Coast Comics. I'm Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, one of your co-hosts, and I'm joined, as always, by my faithful sidekick.
What is my name? Bigby McFly, the comic guy.
Man, I guess I caught you off guard, though, and I thought you always had those thought up in advance.
Yeah, I was too busy drawing to think. I was like, well, oh, wait a minute, I didn't come up with one in advance.
He's the man with no name.
The amnesiac.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm going to say hi to the chat and everybody here. But just first of all, I wanted to say welcome back, everybody. I know we were off the air for a couple weeks. I was dealing with some personal family stuff that was happening. For those that are curious, my daughter's doing much better right now. So thank you for everybody for the well wishes. She had a couple surgeries and she's doing a lot better now. Yeah, so we had to take a couple weeks off. Let's call it a summer vacation, but summer vacations mean summer at the movies, right? So, hey, today's topic, we're going to be talking about summer box office, blockbusters, that kind of stuff. We are going to, and this is later in the show, we are going to be talking about eventually, as each movie comes up, spoilers, if either of us or both of us have seen them. And kind of the big movies, the box office numbers, what it means for our nerddom, the nerd corner of things, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to get to that after a couple regular segments we have coming up in the show. Just want to say welcome back, everybody. It's good to be back on the air. Welcome back, Brian. How's it going, Bigby?
I was not doing great during the break either, so I'm glad to be feeling better.
That's true. We had rumors of possibly having non-bronze shows, and then it turns out Bigby had some stuff going on as well. So
yeah, I had my wisdom teeth out, and then I got sick, and there was a bunch of stuff going on. So yeah, it was not good
at all. But that said, we do have some people that have joined us. We got Richard Westfall coming in with the gold medal. Hydra Asylum Comics, aka one of the people from Hydra Asylum, Jay, our esteemed producer backstage. Welcome, Jay. In the bronze medal position, we got GT Key Comic coming in with the emojis. Folks, we are streaming on a few different YouTube channels right now, as well as a couple other places. We're streaming on my channel. I'm Bronze Age Nerd again. Hi. And we're streaming on Bigby McFly's channel over there. And we're also streaming over on the EXP, which is, if you're not familiar, it's a channel that has a lot of comic book related shows. We have links for all those down below. And I wanted to point out that they just got a new member today. So Brendan, I don't know if you're still watching over on the EXP or you were just watching for the earlier show, but hey, thanks for becoming a channel member. All three channels have channel memberships. Those channel memberships do support us a lot. In fact, I'll be talking about Bigby's channel memberships here in a minute when I talk about some stuff I picked up this week. Let's see who else we got. We got Derek. What's up, Derek? Coming in with the cactus. Ooh, it's appropriate. I think it finally dropped below 90 outside here, but
a little hot.
Yeah, it's not good. Did you work today?
I did, but I got off at like 1 o'clock, so it wasn't too terrible. It was pretty hot still. It was like 93 or something when I got off. But
yeah, everybody like in the South and the Southwest is like,
whatever.
Got Chad Cave coming in, and then he says, "Talk to me, Goose," and then he immediately says, "Talk to me on the replay," because he's old AF. Hey man, you're as spring a chicken as we are. You're all good, man.
Alpha Flight, yeah. Amazing Fantasy.
John coming in and saying he wants to stay spoiler free. Yeah, John, if you happen to catch the beginning of the show, you got some time before we talk about that. And of course, we'll give spoiler warnings before we talk about anything, just to kind of give people a chance to mute or whatever, right? And we got the talking is hard after not being on the air for a couple of weeks. The nostalgic pod blast in the house coming in from Atlanta, where I'm sure it's nice and toasty over there.
Yeah.
Son of Crom coming in. What's up, Son of Crom? No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Yeah, spoil away. There we go. So yeah, that's everybody who's joined us for the show so far. For those that are going to be joining in later, we'll say hello as best we can if we're not in the middle of yakking. But we have a couple segments we're going to get through before we handle our normal topic for this week, which again is the summer blockbusters, kind of reviewing those, talking about what we thought about them. The first one that we should probably tackle this week is the community art segment that we have every time. We're actually going to move that up to the beginning of the show, at least as an experiment for a while. We're going to try to have some set segments. And community art, you guys didn't really see this show for the last couple of weeks, but you did see a community art stream for Heroes for Heroes. So we absolutely would love to show you some of the artwork from that and show you the new introduction to our community art segment. So let's take it away.
From you to us, it's art for all. At Best Coast Comics, we answer the call. Fans and creators, bold and smart. Join the line for Comic
That's awesome.
Sweet.
Good job.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, so that's our new introduction. We'll probably change it up as time goes on and get some of the new art in there. All the art you saw featured in that segment, that introduction, is previously submitted pieces that have come into us for Best Coast Comics community art segment. So shout out to everybody who submitted. If you'd like to have your art featured on the show, like we're going to be showcasing some of the community art here in a second, go ahead and send it into us. That's all you got to do. Got to make sure you do a doodle and then send it into us.
Do a doodle.
Yeah, so first I wanted to talk about all the cool stuff that came out of the Heroes for Heroes community art stream. So we're going to showcase all that artwork here. Let's see, what should I start with? I'll start with this. I'm going to change over to, I think.
Well, you should start.
There's
with,
the one that'll let us
start with how well we did with hitting our goal, right?
Yeah, well, I will definitely get to that in a second here once we recap all the artwork. But we did hit our goal. That you are absolutely right about that. And I'll bring up the page and show everybody where to go donate if they're curious about doing that afterwards here. We had to go that hard. Yeah, we had to go that hard, Jay. That is correct. We were mandated to go that hard. This is a piece from Ben Taz. And this actually was unique in that it was only offered during the community art stream that I'm mentioning. It was a one-time only opportunity to get it. He made one print. It's a one of one. And this is a Dan to Dan version of his Mission 22 artwork that he did last year, originally for our fundraiser. So Ben Taz, awesome artist, did this, and he threw this in as an extra item for whoever won his artwork. And he did an Airboy 5 Dave Stevens homage with the new K-pop Demon Hunters main character, Rumi, I want to say her name is, and did an amazing job here. Here's the finalized art, but then he also did a print for this and ended up giving it to the winner, which is an awesome viewer's daughter out there that ended up getting it. So here's the finalized colored version of it.
That's so good.
He did a few prints of these. That's awesome, dude. Ben Taz delivering the heat. Cannot stress how awesome this is. After that stream, I ended up watching this movie with my daughter, and it's now her favorite movie of all time. So very cool. Thanks for turning me on to that whole thing, Ben. we had actual Dracula, who was last year's community art winner from the, the contest isn't really a huge thing. It's just kind of something we want to do at the end of the year to kind of highlight all the great art we've seen. But everybody fan voted him as the winner. He decided to make it clobber in time, which was very timely with the Fantastic Four release.
That was so impressive watching him do that. If you guys haven't watched the stream, go back and watch it. It's on Bronze's channel, but he did that all with colored pencil, like live on the show.
Yeah, it was great. Great stuff. Actual Dracula, always a pleasure to get work from him. Let's see here. Cannot move on without talking about this awesome piece by my amazing co-host. This is what Bigby McFly drew on the stream. Love you. This was kind of essentially, you'd started this as a rough for that other Batman piece that you drew as a commission, right?
Yeah, it was a post study to try to figure out how I wanted to have him swinging into that scene, and then I was like, might as well use it for something else. So
yeah, and I love that you kind of went. I think you referred to it as the Mike Zeck style of kind of almost like action gun cover here. You don't see Batman doing that very often these days. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Love that. Some other idiot on the stream contributed this piece. This is a rogue that I did based on a cosplay from Brianna Torres. Thank you, man. I think Richard
you got like props from her, right? For your
piece? She ended up liking the post. Yeah, that was really fun. That's cool. She's pretty famous cosplayer, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And then we had a surprise guest joined us during the show because I did not expect him to make it in. He was kind enough to join us. We had Comic Tropes, aka Chris, joined us. And
Chris, good job.
Oh man, he just absolutely killed this Baroness sketch cover he did. That's awesome. I was bidding for this one. I didn't win it, but I really wanted to.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, that was amazing. We had a international panel because we had Elliot from the UK, Elliot Wright, did this awesome Galactus sketch cover that was just gorgeous.
Man, everybody just killed it.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Wow. Elliot, good job, man.
Elliot just absolutely crushed it. Speaking of something that could definitely crush it, we had Erwin Papa come on and do this Bane piece. Now, unless I'm mistaken, it was just penciled or no colors at the end of the stream. I think he colored it later, unless I'm mistaken.
Right. Yeah, he was drawing it, getting all everything laid out. Yeah,
but then he eventually colored it. So I showed the finished piece. Decided to show that. Man, that this is that absolute Bane, right? So it's definitely that style. Yes, Miss Bree. Yeah, that's exactly right, Jay. Miss Bree Solo on Instagram. Erwin it was such a treat watching him draw, and the bidding was coming in fast and furious for this piece, so that was really cool. This wasn't a day of last minute edition, but it was pretty close to the deadline. We had Izzyverse NYC was willing to pop on, and he actually was awesome enough to do one sketch cover and come back on and do a second sketch cover. So I'm gonna show both pieces. I'll show the second one first.
Fast. He was good.
He did great. This was the second one he did, which I know he did a little bit quicker, but this is an awesome MJ one he did. Mary Jane, obviously. I got to show the other one here though, because this was.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
dude, that's amazing. I was in awe. Like, I mean, the MJ is great. This is just like, I mean, I would be bidding heavily on this thing if I brought my fat wallet that day to the stream. There's only so much you can try to buy, but that's awesome. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Another thing was kind of timely, with the passing of Hulk Hogan was right before the stream. Roscoe came on and finished up this Hulk sketch cover, which is obviously featuring Hulk Hogan, the Hulkamania kind of cover here. So good. Yeah, he did a really good job on that too.
Everybody just killed it.
Yeah, and pretty much everybody that's on this lineup here is somebody who's contributed to the community art. I don't think we've actually had a piece from Izzyverse before, but we will now. Like we'll continue.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm excited to kind of like, we reached out to some new people in the art community through Roscoe or through some of the chat boards that I'm on and other people are on, and we got some new people, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool to see people come together. I mean, it was just awesome. And then we had 2 pieces done on the stream by Side Quest Comics. The first one was this Gambit. That's a really cool piece.
Good.
And the second one, which ended up being my favorite
that he did, yeah.
Yeah, I love this Thundercracker he did.
My goodness.
That's just cool.
Yeah. Good work, Eric.
Really great work. And then the last finished piece that I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. The last finished piece that came out during the stream was this Spider-Punk from Rich Stankey, which I'm going to go ahead and
cool, man.
And I'm not going to not give it its due here. Trust me, I give it even better due here because I actually just got a package today. From Rich. And what do you know? There's that Spider-Punk.
Make yourself solo.
Let's see here.
Take the center stage. There we go. Yeah.
So that's great. And then he actually sent in some other really cool stuff too. And I, forgive me, I literally just opened the package not that long ago. So I don't remember what comic this is, but this is a comic he worked on. And it was a variant cover.
That's right. He had thrown in some variant covers that he did, or sketch covers.
Yeah, he was kind of doing a stacker. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then he worked on a comic book called Drunken Monkey. And so he did a little remark, a signature on Drunken Monkey #1 and on #2. And there's the other thing in here is a little sticker he put in there. That's cool.
That's really cool.
So I'm going to check that out. And then he threw in some awesome bonuses, and I cannot wait to show one of them. He did this Drunken Monkey sketch.
Oh, wow. Infinity Gauntlet Drunken Monkey. There we go.
That's cool.
Yeah, baby.
And he announced this on the stream, and I'll be 100% honest. This is the reason that I kept bidding, is because I actually like this. I love the Spider-Punk. I actually like this one even more.
That was, yeah. He's like, I'm going to throw this one in. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you should have led with that one.
Yeah. I mean, no offense to the Spider-Punk, but
that one's just
battle damage with a little bit of single color in there. It's really cool. And then, Rich, if you're watching on the rewind or maybe you're watching live, I can't thank you enough for the other thing you put in here, man. This is too cool. He knew what was going on with my daughter. I mentioned at the beginning of the show. He ended up asking me what my daughter's favorite comic book character was. And I was like, well, she's 6. It's a little all over the place, but I said, I'll ask her. And she said a few characters. The first one she said was Scarlet Witch, which kind of surprised me, but that makes sense. She does like Scarlet Witch. And then I told him that she's really into Pokemon. He's like, I can work with that. And so he drew a piece for her, and I mean, she loved it. She saw it a little while ago, and she let me share it with everybody here. Check this out.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Awesome, that's so man. Great.
Awesome.
I freaking love it, man. I was just so cool. Thank you, Rich. That was amazing, dude. So, that was the turnout for the Heroes for Heroes charity art stream. I'm going to take a minute to explain what that is exactly and kind of show you guys where we finished up. So Heroes for Heroes is a fundraiser that raises money for Mission 22. Mission 22 is an awesome charity organization based out of Oregon. It was founded by veterans. It's predominantly run by veterans. And really what they excel at is offering mental health services to veterans dealing with things like depression, with PTSD, with all the different kinds of things that can lead to self-harm. So they do a really great job. A lot of comic book community veterans really like that cause. That's part of the reason that we kind of rallied around them. So we do this fundraiser every year called Heroes for Heroes. It's literally a Mission 22 website that you're looking at right now. You can see their little logo up there in the corner. It's just our special portal for our fundraiser. This is the 2025 campaign. And after that fundraiser, we hit $5,679, which is obviously better than our goal of 5,000. So that's 113%. The handy little calculator there tells me. I'm going to point out one other detail, and I really hope she doesn't mind us doing this. Part of that, I mentioned Ben Taz doing the Dave Stevens homage. So Ben did a couple special prints for Dave's sister, Jennifer, who runs the Dave Stevens Trust. And if you go and follow Dave Stevens, any of the active social media for Dave Stevens artwork, it's her and her family running it. And it's pretty cool. I've had a few conversations with her now. It's really fun. But she donated too, and I almost wanted to point that out. That was really awesome that they did that. Shout out to them, and shout out to Ben. He's helped so much in raising some of this money. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to post that link into chat. It'll be in the chat and all the different channels we're streaming to. So if you want to go donate or just bookmark the page for sharing or something like that, we'd appreciate it.
For sure. And we're going to be doing another one. Right? Because we have some
we're going to do
that were donated that we didn't get to. We ran out of time.
We ran out of time, and I'll be like 100% honest. We kind of ran out of steam. Like
right.
For whatever reasons, and it's a whole thing that we could get into at some other point. There were some really awesome supporters that just stayed, for the duration. But they also had picked up some stuff already, and I know that can be, it's like you only have so much money to go around, right? So we were starting to see the returns come down. So I'd had a little off-screen conversation with some of the donors and some of the people who were actually going to be the ones bidding, because there was just nobody else coming into the chat. And we all kind of agreed that like it's probably best to like not let this art go for stupid cheap and save it, because it was already a 7-hour stream at that point. So we're saving it. We're going to do another art stream. I don't know exactly when or what that's going to look like, but there will be another one at some point. I would love to do it in September, but that's just kind of I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know that that's going to be when it happens. And then we have at least one more comic auction that we're going to do with like comic or original art from professionals, that kind of stuff. We have some pages, we have some sketches, we have some comics, all that kind of fun stuff. And that will most likely be in November. So stay tuned. If you could go follow @Heroes for Heroes.
Started a new one while we were finishing up.
Oh, there you go.
So there we go. There's a sneak peek.
Make sure to follow @Heroes for Heroes Comics on IG for updates about those events. Whew. So that's Heroes for Heroes updates. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And next up, we got to talk about some comic book news, everybody. So we're going to talk about some comic book news.
Those handsome fellows.
They are very, very nice fellows. I agree.
I gotta say how happy I am to be back on the show and doing it. I missed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And having everybody here in the chat feels like hanging out with my group of friends that I missed hanging out with everybody. So
yeah, same here, man. It was a busy couple of weeks, so I'll be honest, like time flew. But
oh yeah, for sure. But it's great to be here.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. We'll get back in the swing of things. So what, superherohype.com is not a site I'm super familiar with. But this is a quote from Jake Schreier, who has been tapped as the X-Men director for the MCU X-Men stuff film. And this is pretty interesting. I wanted to talk about this, especially since it's movie comic book news, which is kind of about what our main topic is tonight. So Jake Schreier, who did Thunderbolts, Asterisk, aka the New Avengers, whatever you want to call it. There have been some rumors about casting, and I talked about this a few times. How those casting rumors just bother the hell out of me because they're not official, and they're rumors, all that kind of stuff. But this is from Jake Schreier and from Kevin Feige. They're saying the X-Men casting, the field is wide open for X-Men casting, and they're looking for younger talent rather than A-listers to keep the cost down. Kevin Feige had previously said that the X-Men will be a youth-focused reboot. So youth-focused reboot, which is pretty cool to hear, in my opinion. It said that may be reflected in mutant castings, and it'll definitely be felt in the tone and perspective of the film. Schreier also recently told the playlist that the new X-Men outing will be recognizably different than previous movies. And it kind of goes on to say that, but basically that's the gist of it. The new X-Men movie does not have a release date at this time. The next one in the MCU is going to be Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is going to be in July of next year, 2026. and then Avengers Doomsday, you know, Avengers Secret Wars, all that stuff's pending changes and dates and stuff. So interesting, but I know some people were really excited about certain fan castings, and you know, oh, it'd be so cool to see this person as, you know, Cyclops or Nightcrawler or Colossus or whatever. I've always wanted unknown new people. Like I think that has the biggest chance for me to identify with a new group of characters personally. How, do you feel like you want unknowns, or do you want established actors, or you want a mix, or what would you prefer?
I think we're gonna get our fill of like the established people that we've had in Doomsday and everything, and then I think it'd be nice to see a whole new crop of people new that we've never heard of. You know?
Yeah, I agree, and yeah, that's a good point too. Is we are going to see. I don't know exactly which all X-Men are coming back, but a lot of the Fox X-Men are going to have theoretically their last hurrah. Like I know James Marsden is coming back to reprise Cyclops. He was kind of the big one missing from, you know, Deadpool and Wolverine and all that kind of stuff too. But yeah, supposedly we're going to get most of them back. It looks like. So
we're going to get a Jim Lee accurate costume for him.
Yes, yeah, I saw that too. That's pretty cool. A youth focused, yeah. Well, you know, yeah, Wolverine's a big one for me because I want somebody who can do the action. I want somebody who can really bring some viscera to it, and somebody who's at the right age that if they're Wolverine for the next 10, 15 years, I want them to not visibly age, you know? So you want to hit that sweet spot of somebody who's probably like in their late 20s or early 30s. I mean, Wolverine's supposed to look like that, even though he's obviously much older, right? So,
right.
I think that's ideal. Hey, you know what? Just like a wizard, you're never late, you're never early, you always arrive on time. Comic Tropes, just like you did on the community art stream, which we just recapped all the artwork from that, including your awesome Baroness piece that you did. That was
Baroness
so cool.
Piece was great.
Yeah. No more Pascals. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, there's some things about that FF movie that were definitely unique, and we'll get into that here pretty soon. But I don't know. I'm excited. Oh, there we go.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. In First Class, there were a lot of young actors, but they weren't really unknowns. I know you put unknowns in quotes, but yeah, I mean, like some of those people are very famous actors, to be fair. So I think it's gonna be interesting. Richard, for all I know, you're being completely sarcastic, but yeah, I'm excited for a new X-Men cast, and that's the direction I wanted to see it go.
Yeah, no, it should be good. Fingers crossed.
Yes. Next up on the news, not at the time. Okay, well. James McAvoy was a hot actor. Michael Fassbender was those were all hot actors at the time. Jennifer Lawrence had been in Hunger Games. Michael Fassbender, I'm trying to think of what he was in before that. He's probably the more unknown of the three. But McAvoy definitely had, I mean, that Wanted movie with Angelina Jolie was a big success. So the next article comes to us from ICV2. Skybound is going to reprint key issues of Larry Hama's G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. They're going to be the Hama Files editions, and will include a letter from the creator. This looks really cool. The first issue that's going to be reprinted here is G.I. Joe 26, written and penciled by Larry Hama. And
my first comic off the newsstand.
That was yours?
That was my very first comic off the newsstand. Yep.
Awesome. That's so cool. This issue for me is the one that I can never keep straight which one's the first printing and which one's the second printing for the directs. Because right. I think it's the Black Spidey head is the second printing. I can't remember.
I think so.
Yeah. I think I only have a second printing of this issue, but I have a couple of them. But yeah, this is part of the origin of Snake Eyes. It has connection to Storm Shadow. Classic book. Mike Zeck cover, just like Bigby's Batman inspired Mike Zeck art that we were showing off earlier. Who had Mike Zeck, if you're not familiar, most of you probably are, had amazing G.I. Joe covers. I mean, every cover Mike Zeck did is pretty much amazing, but his GI Joe ones were no slouches. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see what else they do. It'd be interesting to see if I don't normally like this for like reprint / facsimile style comics, but the modern trend of getting new variant covers for some of the reprints has been a big deal the last few years. I wonder if we're going to start to see some really cool, mainstream artists get tackled on for like exclusives for this or something like that. That'd be really fun to see. But yeah, you can never get enough GI Joe. It's just so great. It's so great, and I'm excited to see what the letters and everything look like. The letter from Larry Hama and everything.
Really, really
that should
cool.
be fun. Yeah. So I can't wait. I know Chris is excited. Hell yeah. Last news story that I'll share. Will share, I should say. That caught my eye. And, it's kind of, we're a lot of news. For news, we're pretty much going to tackle the big stuff unless we have so much news that becomes our topic. But this one seems very fitting for our topic tonight. So this comes to us from Variety, but James Gunn is going to be directing the next movie in the Super family after Superman's success, which, I think we'll get into our thoughts on the Superman movie here in a bit. But I think he handled it pretty well. I love the way that it set up the next movie. Again, I'll no spoilers until we actually get to that part, and then I'll warn everybody about spoilers. But yeah, the next film got set up at the end. Big surprise, right? And I think the tone for that was pretty fun, and I can't wait to see where that goes. So yeah, great,
yeah,
great.
That's
I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, exciting times at DC.
I'm trying to remember who's directing. I wish I could remember off the top of my head in the article. I don't think
the Woman of Tomorrow movie.
Yeah, I want to say it's a female director. Oh man, I wish I could remember what it is. Somebody will probably correct me in the chat. But yeah, so I think it means the whether that's Superman 2 or some other type of Superman movie after that will be coming to us from James Gunn. I'm gonna do. This isn't really news, but it's something, we just talked about Mission 22 and Heroes for Heroes. I want to talk about this real quick. This is interesting, and it's interesting kind of in how social media works today. I'm going to do a little odd thing here. I'm going to share my inbox for thebronzeagenerd@gmail.com if you want to email me anything. It's just my little public account here for everybody. But this is from Mission 22. And this is legit. I was in contact with Mission 22 because I noticed some weird activity on their Facebook page. I was going to tag them in something, and some weird posts popped up that looked like kind of the AI generated clickbait that you sometimes see on social media sites, and it just seemed odd. So I emailed and I was like, "Hey, did your account get hacked?" Turns out, yes, it did get hacked, and I wish that was a simple matter of, their account got hacked and then it's now back to normal and everything's fine. That isn't what happened. No. So I'm going to read a little bit from this email here just to kind of update everybody. If you follow the regular Mission 22 page that's been in existence on Facebook, you might want to go unfollow it and report it. 5 days ago, this is, again, reading from the email. Our verified Mission 22 Facebook page was hacked. Since then, Meta has offered zero meaningful assistance, their words, denying the breach and even suggesting we ask the hacker to give it back. That's a very strange way to, no, there's no breach. What are you talking about? Why don't you just ask the hacker to give it back? Those are not statements that can exist in the same logic there. They're a verified veteran nonprofit. They had 50,000 followers on that Facebook page. They have over 300,000 followers in total. And they would actually do challenge fundraiser updates on that page. So this is impacting their ability to raise funds. And this is pretty terrible. So there's a call to action here, and this is kind of why I'm talking about this. How can you help? We're actively seeking media outlets, podcasts, or public speaking opportunities to share this story to expose Meta's inaction. If you or someone you know has a connection to journalists or relevant platforms, please reach out to us, info@mission22.com. So I just wanted to share that. I think that's kind of a really scummy thing that happened. And,
Yeah.
I've heard about YouTube channels that have lost their access to their channel from hackers and entities like that. And, you think that those organizations then are going to help you, but in reality, you're probably dealing with some AI chatbot that's going down a very strict set of like a tree of dialogue with you, and if you don't provide the right answer along the way and you get put into the bucket where it's like, we're not going to help this person, sometimes you get lost in limbo and you don't get helped. And in this case, we're talking about a charity, so that's really BS. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. So I really was disgusted by that, but I wanted to share that with everybody. Wow, man, what else has been in the news recently? Anything else you guys want to
we
talk
had
about?
the Sydney Sweeney thing with the jeans, right?
I mean, you did mention Sydney Sweeney, I guess. Nah, you know what? I got an immediate message from American Eagle. We're not going to be playing that drop anymore. Should probably do something to replace that, right? Like,
how about
who
that
else
lady
is-
from Blade Runner?
Oh, the actress from Ballerina too. The
yeah.
what's her
She's
name
pretty-
again? Anna something, right?
Anna de Armas, right?
Anna de Armas. Oh, I guess we could do something for that. So Anna de Armas.
Anna with your smoky eyes, dancing through ballerina, kiss me goodbye. You throw a punch, I say please, I'd like another. After Blade Runner, I'll never recover. Anna with your smoky eyes, dancing through ballerina, kiss me goodbye. You throw a punch, I say please, I'd like another. After Blade Runner, I'll never recover.
Huh. I don't know. I don't know if we can ever replace the other one, but I mean, we tried.
Richard's such a Sydney Sweeney fan. He broke
I guess
his
that
heart.
was kind of newsworthy. We had to tackle that a little bit. There's probably people who have like no idea what we're talking about. Actually, no, that's a huge thing on social media.
That was
Right?
a
Like, everybody knows what that is.
pretty big thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is, I just saw a whole thing where they went back and did the Brooke Shields one where she did the jeans thing too.
Yeah. Was there a pun on that one too or something?
No, they were just kind of showing the history of that kind of marketing campaign, talking the play on words of jeans versus jeans,
Gotcha. I do not know why we have our articles and stuff like that on Discord, and every once in a while I'm doing the show, maybe because I click too many external links, it makes me like log in again. That's a pain. So I'm just going to see if I can just grab the URL for our thing I want to bring up for our main topic. The whole, I don't know. I'm not going to get too far into it, but I think that whole thing is pretty, it's being politicized in a way that I think is not necessarily fair to the situation.
Much, right? Yeah.
But then again, you have some meaningful silence from one of the most important people involved. So whatever. That's pretty much all I'll say about it.
Well, while you're doing that, what you been watching? Are we moving that segment to the end?
No. Sorry, I was reading something else that was coming through. So I watched K-pop Demon Hunters with my daughter. It's her new favorite movie. It's by, for those that don't know, it's by the same team that did the Spider-Verse animated films. I watched a bunch of stuff that I'd already seen again, like with her. Like we were talking about summer blockbuster stuff, so I showed her Jaws, which was an interesting experience.
How
yeah.
was what was her reaction to that?
She was pretty cool. You know, she's watched a lot. She loves underwater stuff, so
Yeah.
she's watched a lot of shark. Like, there's this guy named Jonathan Bird on. I don't know if he's elsewhere than YouTube. But he has a big YouTube channel, and he does like dives all over the world and stuff. So she's seen like hundreds of videos of shark diving and that kind of stuff. So once she realized that they're not going to show the shark much, and the attacks are all kind of just like on the surface, I think she was kind of cool with it. But she kind of, you know, closed her eyes a few times. What else? Oh, I've been rewatching Stranger Things because
we've got the new season coming, right? So
yeah, the final season's coming out, so I kind of wanted to get caught up, especially since I don't remember some of the older stuff.
Right.
And then, well, you know, when we talk about the main topic, I'll talk about all the other movies I saw. Basically, is kind of where I'll go with that. At, you know, Fantastic Four and Superman and Jurassic World Rebirth and some of the other ones. I'm actually going to leave those off because I was surprised at the list that we're going to share here in a second. How about you? What have you been watching?
I finished Big Bang Theory. Got a little teary-eyed at the end there. Rick and Morty finished a new season of that.
I did that too.
Eyes of Wakanda. I watched that. That was pretty
cool.
good.
Was that good?
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I like the last. There's like 4 episodes, but the last 2 are my favorite. The Life of Chuck. 28 years later.
Yep.
Materialists, which had a bunch of superhero actors in it. But it had Dakota Johnson and Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal. That was
that guy's in everything.
Yeah. I watched because of your thumbnail. I watched the live action Lilo and Stitch last night. So,
that was the little kind of Easter egg I wanted to throw out there because it surprised me. Some people that pay attention to stuff all the time probably already knew that, but was that kind of the end of your recap of what you've been watching? I don't want to.
And then Jurassic World. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Because those are all going to be relevant here. So what I'll do is I'll bring up the Box Office Mojo by IMDb Pro here to kind of talk about the box office summer of 2025. And summer is May 2nd to September 1st. So obviously we're not quite at the finish line yet. I can't think of any other huge movies that are still coming out that are probably going to compete for anywhere in the top 10 of summer movies. At least I don't think there is anything. I've
heard really good things about that Weapons movie. Like it's the last time I heard it was like it still had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is
okay.
So,
and I didn't realize it was at number 1 right now. That's cool. But yeah, that's a movie I wanted to see. I didn't realize that was something that a lot of people were tracking. I don't really pay attention to a lot of this, so maybe it's just surprising to me. I don't know. But Lilo and Stitch at number 1. I'm gonna try to make these numbers a little more legible for everybody because we only need the first couple columns. Lilo and Stitch was actually, you know, I don't know if this is the best numbers for this anymore. I used to work in theater exhibition and it used to be a lot more straightforward to track these numbers as a professional, but I'm assuming these are good. Lilo and Stitch number 1 at 421 million with the highest screen count too, which also makes sense. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of, you know, I'm going to read through the top 10 basically, and then we'll kind of go through and talk about these movies.
There's a couple on there I haven't seen yet.
Okay. So yeah, there's at least 2 on here I haven't seen. 3, I guess.
3,
Superman
3 for me also. Yep.
Okay. Superman, 331 million. Jurassic World Rebirth, right behind that at 326 million. Live action How to Train Your Dragon at 261. Fantastic Four, First Steps, at 230 million. Also worth pointing out that's the newest movie on this list.
Right.
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, 197. Thunderbolts. I don't know if people really say the asterisk. I'm not going to. 190. F1, the movie, 178. Final Destination: Bloodlines, 138. Sinners, 131 million. And then a few that go beyond this that I think are worth mentioning. I mean, there was that Ilio, which is another Disney / I think Pixar movie. I haven't seen it. 28 Years Later, Ballerina, I guess, you know, Karate Kid. Weapons was creeping in here.
Weapons is really recent. So
yeah, Minecraft. I don't know if they must be truncating the total because that's probably only the numbers post May 2nd.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's the only one that applies to on here. But so first off, those of us that are to those of you that are in the audience, let us know, which of these movies you like the most. If you had any strong opinions on any, a few of you are already here sharing your strong opinions. I appreciate it. But so let's see. So I hadn't seen on that top 10. I hadn't seen Mission Impossible, F1, or Final Destination.
So I've seen Final Destination. I hadn't seen Elio. Was the other one that I hadn't seen.
Oh, well, it's number 11. So that.
Oh, was that number 11? Okay.
Yeah. F1, man, we don't have like a real true IMAX theater anywhere super close, but I really wanted to go see that in a true IMAX theater. I'm excited to watch that. I probably now at this point I'll probably wait till it's at home release though. Right. Mission Impossible, I have not heard good things. I haven't actually seen I haven't seen the previous one or this one.
The previous one was really good, actually. I really enjoyed the previous one. So I was looking forward I haven't seen it yet, but I was looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. I mean, I liked, for various reasons, I pretty much liked every Mission Impossible movie that I watched. There was one, all the middle ones blend together after 2. They all kind of, I couldn't tell you which one's which. Like, I know there was like Ghost Protocol and all, the one in Dubai and all the they blend together for me. So
right.
I can't tell you which one I hated or liked the least, but they all are enjoyable, and I'll get to watching these. I actually, side note, Christopher McQuarrie is kind of the guy behind the Mission Impossible success for those later movies, and he's teamed up pretty big with Tom Cruise, and I think they did Maverick and stuff. One of my favorite movies of his, he's the guy that wrote The Usual Suspects, by the way. His follow-up to The Usual Suspects was a little known movie called The Way of the Gun. It's a fantastic film. Just came out in 4K, ultra definition, high definition. Worth watching if you've never seen it. What's up, Awesome Sauce? How's it going?
Hey.
Wish I had some McDonald's. There you go. There you go. Welcome to the show. So we can't really talk about the ones we haven't seen. So for me, that's Mission Impossible, F1.
Some rave reviews for Weapons already here. So
yeah, and I really want to see it. It has that awesome actress from Fantastic Four in it. I'm kind of being tongue in cheek because I know that's a very controversial topic.
Adrian was supposed to be in the role for the Josh Brolin got.
But yeah, Julia Garner is a good actress, and it's kind of cool that she's in a couple hot movies right now. So first we're going to kind of talk about reviewing the movies, I guess, or should we talk about box office numbers first? What do you want to talk about first, Bigby?
We can probably, I don't know, let's like sashay back and forth. We can do both.
Okay. So I'm gonna kind of go down the list here, starting with the top grossing movie.
Okay.
Lilo and Stitch. I watched it with my daughter. I'm not a giant fan of the remake live action from animated stuff in general.
Right.
That said, I've enjoyed a lot of them. They're really fine. To me, they usually don't need to be made. That's just my personal opinion. I get that they're very safe. If you have a huge animated hit 20 years later, you want to make it live action or whatever, it's great. I really actually liked Lilo and Stitch. It's probably one of my favorite movies because I thought it was funny. Even at the age I was a little old for like kid Disney stuff when it came out in the 90s or whatever, but I think it was the 90s. But yeah, it was a good movie. I liked the character. I thought Stitch was hilarious. I'll say this movie, so we're going to kind of talk about spoilers for this movie now. Tiny, not really though. The girl was amazing in it. I don't know her name, but the actress that played
the little girl.
Yeah. she brought a
very
lot
great.
of heart to that movie.
Yeah,
Um,
she really had to carry a lot of weight for that movie. Yeah,
yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised by Lilo and Stitch, and I usually don't, like I said, I usually don't dig these kind of movies, but if you, I think I would not have enjoyed it as much if it was just me watching it. Like obviously I'm watching it with my 6-year-old daughter. I'm watching it with my wife. It's a family film. That is the context. I don't know if I would have been thrilled to watch it, myself just popping in a movie at night or whatever. But yeah, it was good. What did you think, man?
it was enjoyable. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, I'm more of a fan of the original animated one. I enjoyed that a lot. There was probably a reason why I hadn't watched it, because it was just like, I've already seen it. But
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it was enjoyable. I mean, it had some different stuff in it. I don't want to spoiler it too much, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was good. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, it was fun. And it was kind of fine. It was kind of both. Um, my big thing that I think about, you know what? I'll save it. Because there's another movie on this list that's perfect to talk about with that. Never mind. I was something about the remakes, but when we get to How to Train Your Dragon, I'll talk about it then.
No, see, I didn't see How to Train Your Dragon. You saw that one though?
I did see it, and should we just talk about that one now? Should we go out of order?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so How to Train Your Dragon. I just watched that the other night. I thought the original animated movie, which I have to kind of talk about a little bit, was, to me, it was kind of unique when it first came. There's been like 3 sequels to that or something. I think, but I didn't see any of those.
I super enjoyed the original. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the original was great. It was pretty, pretty literally original, kind of a good concept. Which I enjoy that. I like seeing movies that aren't the same thing we've seen 1,000 times.
Right.
And sometimes I like seeing the same thing we've seen 1,000 times too. But yeah, it was good. This remake though, and I'll be light on the spoilers, but if you've ever seen the original, most of the story is right there for you. It didn't really do much for me to distinguish itself from the original, to like justify its existence. Like, it wasn't like objectively bad. It wasn't great, but it was just kind of I guess Awesome Sauce was talking about McDonald's. It was movie fast food.
Right.
That's kind of what it was.
I kind of feel like with these live actions that it's a cash grab of like, hey, people already know they enjoyed the first one and it made millions, so let's just kind of, we know we're gonna make money on this. So it's like,
yeah, and I will say the flying sequences where he's flying on Toothless were more exciting in live action. So I guess that's what I have to give it props for.
That's cool. So the
yeah,
special effects were good.
It was the special effects, and it was also just in animation, it's hard to get that kind of depth of field that you get with a real background. I mean, granted, obviously the dragon's CGI, but and probably in a lot of shots the human is too. But you get more of like a kind of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon kind of thing going on, and some of those sequences were pretty good. But kind of it's funny. My 6-year-old daughter, who's probably pretty close to the target audience, I'm sure 6-year-old boys are even more the target audience, was kind of like halfway through. I can't remember what she said. She said something like, "This is just kind of okay," or something like that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. The target audience is saying, "Eh."
So it's it's all right. And so this is what I was gonna say about remakes, because Bigby hasn't seen it yet. We got some people sounding off in the chat.
Yeah, lots of feedback in the chat. We'll have to get to that.
But let's see here. Will you see the live action Shrek movie with Timothy Chalamet as Shrek? Oh boy, Tim Chal, huh? Yeah, that was good casting for Gerard Butler playing. Why am I forgetting the main character's name? it's a verb or a noun or something, I think is his name. But anyways, yeah, he was the main character's dad. Everybody in chat's probably coming in hot on that one right away.
Hiccup.
Yeah, DreamWorks does do a good job, just like Shrek, right? I've honestly not seen a live action remake of a classic animated film yet that's been worth it. I haven't watched Lilo and Stitch or How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah. The first one I think I saw from Disney, because they're the ones that have kind of massively been doing it. My wife's a huge Beauty and the Beast fan, so we went to go see the Emma Watson Beauty and the Beast in theaters.
Never saw it. Was it any good?
It was, you know what? It was in a world where the animated never existed.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. It would have been just as good as the animated film, if you can compare an animated to a live action, which is not obviously a one-to-one thing. Like the songs were good. Emma Watson was perfect for that role. I will say the Beast CGI could have been a little bit better. But I mean, it's also, that's like what, like 10, 12 years ago now or something.
Right. Oh
Madam Web XXX, huh? All right.
Wow.
All right. Hiccup. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Oh, he was okay. It's been a while since I've watched the animated one. Okay, that makes sense. Bad Bunny's Lord Farquaad. That was that John Lithgow in the original?
Yeah.
Okay. Man. Yeah, I can't think of one that has been, well, with the exception of Lilo and Stitch, which I do think that the main character, Lilo, was easier to buy into as a real person. So that's the one thing that I will cop to with that one.
Yeah, Lilo and her sister were both, they did a really good job.
Yeah. Okay. We probably got to get to the big three movies here, but I want to say the one thing about remakes from animated to live action or any kind of remake. Hollywood, I understand why you're doing it. I understand you made $1 bazillion on a movie and you realize it's a safe bet that you'll make $400 million remaking it live action for one of your bigger hits. I get it. What I would like to see is movies that were underperforming when they came out because of marketing or when it came out or whatever, or movies that were a good script or a good story that were executed poorly. I'd like to see those get remade.
So like like Black Cauldron?
Yeah, there you go, man. That'd be funny to see Disney acknowledge
right?
Black Cauldron, because I don't think they've acknowledged it in like a long time, right?
Right.
Hey, what's up, Travis? How you doing? Thanks for being here. We're talking about summer blockbusters and our thoughts on them.
We've read Sean's quotes, but we haven't said hello to Sean. So hello, Sean.
Oh yeah, that's true. Sean just feels like he's been here all along.
Yeah.
I want a Craven remake where it's the exact same movie, but also Craven says Craven a lot more.
Oh, very cool.
Nice, nostalgic. That's cool. You know what? I haven't seen the live action Jungle Book remake.
Which Podblast was saying up there early, a ways up. He said he's in the Weapons movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he said he was.
I saw something you said about when they were filming it.
A parent or something.
Okay.
Cool. So cool.
Nice. So he's just promoting his own movie. That's what's going on.
That's right. He's like, yeah, get ready for my Oscar now.
Yeah. But yeah, just remake, and like I don't necessarily think it needs a remake, but I just mentioned Way of the Gun, which I think is an underappreciated movie. That if that got remade, that could be fun to see. Or there's just so many movies, especially like in the 90s, before we had like really good CGI and really good high-end special effects, that could have been done a lot better because they just needed more in that department, more oomph. There's a lot of films like that, a lot of diamonds in the rough.
Secret of Nim, that would be really good. Tropes, that's a good one.
Yeah, Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be animated, by the way. But yeah, I mean, Fievel Goes West. That'd be a fun one. Or An American Tale. I always want to say that's Fievel Goes West is the sequel. But yeah, American Tale. There we go. Okay, so we got to talk about the big ones on the list. Yeah, Citizen Kane with Kevin Hart and John Cena.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, that show was all right until they showed the Langoliers.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a great example of what I was talking about, the CGI. Now, granted, it was also really low budget, but
right. It was an episodic show, right? Wasn't it?
It was like a mini series, a limited series, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll compile. It's funny. I normally can think of a few examples of this. Maybe I'll try to compile a list of these, and maybe we could do a show about it or something. Like movies that should get remade.
There's a lot of movies that find their ground after they've been in the theater. They find a strong following, and they become hits after their theatrical release. So it'd be interesting to talk about like what movies would be good to see remade.
Yeah, well, but in some of those cases, it's not necessarily that I think that those movies could be remade better, although they could be remade maybe almost as good. But it's especially the ones where, maybe they cast somebody who's just phoning in their performance or, stuff like that.
Animated remake with The Rock and Vin Diesel.
Yeah, all about family. So
I love you guys.
I think the big three on this list that everybody wants to talk about as in terms of review and performance and all that kind of stuff is Superman, Jurassic World Rebirth, and Fantastic Four: First Steps. Right. And we will get to these. I will say that lower on this list of the top 10 we read earlier, or even a little bit beyond that, Thunderbolts, Sinners, and 28 Years Later are all very solid movies that I hope we get a chance to get to those movies.
Yeah.
Because I do want to talk about those as well, personally. But three movies. So the oldest of those movies is Jurassic World.
Okay.
So let's talk about Jurassic World first. And that way, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth. We will get into spoiler territory while we're talking about it. A lot of it's going to be our opinions on the movie, but I'm sure we'll talk about some of the details. First off, are you a fan of the Jurassic Park / World franchise, Bigby?
Yes. Yeah, that came out like the very first. What year was that? The very
92
first one?
Or 93?
It's the same year like we had what, Independence Day and all the other things. They had some great movies in the theater that year. But yeah, it was a great summer for movies that year. But I enjoy the Jurassic series.
Cool. I do too. In fact, I am a ride or die. We'll watch all the Jurassic Park / World movies, at least until they have 3 in a row that I hate. Even then, I'd probably watch out of morbid curiosity.
You like dinosaurs? It's all good.
I like dinosaurs. By the way, I like dinosaurs. That will come into play when I talk about my review of the movie. I like kaijus and creatures and stuff like that too, but they have their own movies.
Giant robots, kaiju,
giant robots. Yep.
Pacific Rim,
Yeah. There's a movie that could, because Pacific Rim never had a sequel. I'm just saying.
It did not have that. It did not have a sequel.
I'd love to see a sequel to that movie. So I'm a Jurassic Park 1993 is the one that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love. I think I like the Lost World Jurassic Park 2 a lot more than most people. But I'm one of those ride or die book people. So I love the first 2 books. The second one is an extremely poor adaptation of the second book. But some of the DNA is still there.
Haha, Dino DNA.
Hey kids, Mr. DNA. The first one is decent, but I to this day would love a limited series remake or possibly another theatrical movie that is more faithful to the book, because the book is more technical. It's more into it gets more into chaos theory. It gets more into programming and how the park didn't detect the reproduction of the dinosaurs. It's the action scenes with like Muldoon and trying to hunt down the dinosaurs is a little more intense.
Yeah. No, I read the books. They were great.
Yeah, it's got a lot going for it. And I would love to see that, but I still love the movies. So getting to this newest Jurassic World movie.
Did you like the Pratt ones, the Chris Pratt ones?
I like the first one a lot. And I know a lot of people thought, oh, it's terrible. It's just, it's kind of cardboard cut out.
Popcorn
The cool
and
thing to me
dinosaur.
was you get to see the park actually open and functioning.
Right.
And that was cool. I really enjoyed that. Now,
tropes.
I mean, it's also true. What's up, Christina? Came at the right time.
I guess.
Just like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park XXX. I think Awesome Sauce is working on a script for that too.
Right.
Or he will be now. I mean, coming to Jurassic World Rebirth, seeing Scarlett Johansson in the Jurassic Park movie was great. For some reason, my mind connected those two thoughts. But no, I will say that in this film, that was the thing that I enjoyed the most, was her character.
Yes.
And I will say this movie did a shitty job of making me care about any other character in that film. And
I think they made I cared about her military friend that was the guy that the boat captain, but I wish they would have done a little more exposition on like what happened to his son.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I am terrible at pronouncing his name, but Mahershala Ali, right?
Mahershala Ali.
He's a great actor. I just don't think his character had much, like you're saying, there wasn't much depth provided there.
He could have fleshed it out more. Yeah.
There really wasn't for ScarJo's character either, but it's okay for her character because she's a cipher for the trope of badass mercenary, so you don't really need to get into the nitty-gritty of her character. But if you're going to try to set up that this is her team, that she's worked with all these people in the past and we're supposed to care about them, you got to do more. And the paleontologist was just terribly acting his part, and the character was literally dumb. He's calling a mosasaur a dinosaur, which is a mosasaurus is not a dinosaur. I don't know. There's lots and lots and lots of problems. Neither is the Quetzal.
Forgot to push your glasses up there.
Yeah.
Mosasaur is not a dinosaur.
It's just he didn't. I saw somebody else bring up a great point. Why not have his character have worked with like Alan Grant and be trained by him and be like his protege or something, or have him have some diametrically opposed kind of viewpoint about dinosaurs that makes it interesting. Give the character something to do in the movie. And the plot is thin to begin with. We got to go get giant dino DNA from one dinosaur and two animals that weren't dinosaurs to make a heart medication. Great, that would be fine. That doesn't really need to be more deep than that. But it would have been great if it was. I will say it had a lot of great moments. Like the mosasaur scene is probably, unfortunately, the best scene in the movie to me, and it comes pretty early on in the film.
Did that and what were the other the sailback ones
The
where they were-
Spinosaurs.
Spinosaurs when they were swimming.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just. Oh, okay. So there you go. There you go. I don't. Comic Trips could be literally trolling us right now, but
I'm sure
that
he's
actually,
trolling us. I'm sure he's trolling.
that actually could really be the reason why. Richard, how is the paleontologist explaining about the guns and tracker? This is a good point.
Yeah,
It's just one of those
So
things.
it was thin on plot in a few parts. There were a lot of plot holes, but there were big giant lizards that we got to watch, and it was fun.
Yeah, but okay, let's get to the elephant in the room on this film, which is the D-Rex.
Okay.
Opening scene establishes the D-Rex, and then the movie promptly forgets about it for an hour and a half. Literally, there's nothing else about it.
Foreshadowing there, Bronze. Come on now.
I mean,
the setup and the payoff. Come on now.
but give us like a roar, and they're like, "What's that?" Or like some carnage that only some other animal could have done, or
Right.
I don't know. Give me something. It
Right.
just feels like it comes back like, oh, that thing. Okay, I'm supposed to care about that.
He
But
kind of looked well, like when they finally like paid off what he totally looked like. He kind of looked like that alien from American Dad.
that's funny. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The one that like
It
lives
was
with
a
him.
little weird looking. But
Yeah. Well, and I always thought it had a lot of rancor in its DNA.
Yeah.
I'll stop making that joke.
Somehow they got their hands on some Rancor DNA.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm fine with that, but that's what I was going to say about Jurassic World. That was the problem I had with the original Chris Pratt and oh my God, blanking on her name, Blake. Not Blake.
That gal.
Dang it. Bryce Dallas Howard. There we go.
Yeah. There we go.
They stop bringing in the military, stop bringing mutant dinosaurs, stop bringing in hybrids. Or if you're gonna do that, ramp that dial up to 11.
Yeah, let's go all in on the mutant hybrid monstrosities, right? Yeah.
It's in this movie, there's like the real mutant dinosaurs, which is the whole point of the island, supposedly, is that it was overrun by, or not overrun necessarily, but it was creating like weird offshoots, but we don't see any. I mean, we see the D-Rex, we see the Mutadons, which there's a lot of evidence that those were actually velociraptors until very late in the production. In that scene at the service station,
Right.
And they don't do anything cool. Like they could fly, but we don't really see them doing that. They just basically act like raptors. And people wondering about what I'm talking about, the evidence, there's like toy sets that are that same scene, but it has velociraptors instead of Mutadons. There was some shots that were kind of apparently that scene where you see the velociraptors instead of Mutadons. It just wasn't anything special. And this movie had a lot of, oh, we've seen this in Jurassic Park movies before. Here we go. That said, all of the dumb stuff that I hate about this movie, it was still entertaining.
Jay just sparked something when he said the movie was supposed to have human dino hybrids, and all of a sudden I went, ooh, let's do a crossover with Alien and Jurassic Park.
Yeah, so the story when this, by the way, is that so Jurassic Park 3 was supposed to be about human dino hybrids originally. And it was going to be a military project. And that's kind of, I've made a big comment on a Reddit post about this. I won't rehash too much. There's the eyeglass raising part. Where it's like, it seems like every movie has had to be like, well, back then in Jurassic Park 3, we were going to do this. So we better dive into this more. Why? Like, give us a reason. And all these movies are like, well, people don't care about dinosaurs anymore. After a few years, we got to get a new dinosaur. Like, dinosaurs aren't going to get old or dumb or
Nobody goes to the zoo
uninteresting.
ever. Nobody wants to see elephants anymore. That's not
Yeah.
true, right?
Yeah, I mean, the world be more used to those creatures, sure.
Right.
Yeah. Was that the Tops comic, Travis? That's some good stuff right there.
I was going to ask you if they relaunched a Jurassic Park comic, would you read it?
That would actually be fun if I was talking about wanting a more literal remake. If they did like, Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park, the comic,
A faithful
because supposedly
adaptation.
Steven Spielberg won't let him remake Jurassic Park. It's apparently the deal there. So, which is funny because all the movies that do have deserve a remake or whatever, it's kind of one of the ones that I would like to see remade. Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, I would definitely check that out. What I just said, maybe a different offshoot comic, animated, drawn dinosaurs doesn't do it as much as the high level CGI dinosaurs are like the
Right.
major
You like to see the live action monsters. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, probably check it out. Yeah, not even a dinosaur movie. They again lean into the modification stuff and give us a reason to be there.
Have you seen that preview for that? It looks like, don't want to say low budget, but it looks like
it's low budget. I know what you're talking about.
The Vietnam one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Kong Skull
Island
don't
look terrible.
I think that movie had some potential, but I think that it would be kind of ruined by its budget, is my guess. I hope I'm wrong, but I can't remember the title of it now. You said that in waiting for the chat to correct me. But I think that this franchise has gotten a little long in the tooth. And this is like now our second kind of, it's all still in the same world, but we're kind of rebooting it. I will say that I could see a good sequel for this movie, which is, to me, it's literally the last shot of the film. And that keeps going. And you actually see that they're being chased by the mosasaur, and that boat that they escape on gets attacked, and they end up back on the island. And they kind of actually have to, explore the island and the dinosaurs this time. By the way, the other thing about the island that they're on, which is it's a new island of the franchise, we haven't seen it before. They show like the ancient ruins, and I kept feeling like there was going to be something more to that,
right?
Like maybe Lost World, like the original Lost World story, not Jurassic Park. Like they were going to do like dinosaurs actually were always alive on this island, and they've kind of are still there or something, like real ass dinosaurs. I don't know. I don't know if it was gonna be that or whatever, but maybe they'd bring in aliens or something.
Hey, Alien Jurassic Park would be an awesome crossover.
So, Tropes, I saw your other comment, and I'll be honest, I'm ignorant of what the clues were of what that is. Hit me with the knowledge, man. What were the clues that she's the clone? I know like the girl from the Lockwood estate was a clone and everything, but
Jay.
For real though, like how do we not have like Godzilla versus Kong versus D-Rex / T-Rex / Mosasaur / Megalodon? Let's get them all in a film, man. All those studios need to team up and make some dough.
Versus Pacific Rim.
Yeah, exactly. Can we see Anchor Bay and Sci-Fi? I don't know. I talked a lot about Jurassic World Rebirth. Did you have any other opinions you want to throw in there, Bigby?
No, I think like you said, it was light on plot, but it was enjoyable. But
yeah, man. Let's make it like Ultimate Battle of Ultimate Destiny. Let's get it going.
Versus Chuck Norris. There we go.
Get Optimus Prime.
It was enjoyable, but like, those things are always reverberating in the back of your head where you're like, man, why aren't they telling a little more about this? Or, like the ruins, like those ruins, were they actually like part of the attraction? So it was like, they weren't really ruins, but they were like put there to, look like ruins, or I don't know.
Well, it wouldn't make sense though, because this island was never designed to be customer facing or guest facing or whatever, as far as we know. I mean, but maybe it ultimately was. Of course, that could be a thing that they're going to try to do, but I don't know. I hope that if they're going to continue, and that clearly they will after making a ton of money, I hope that they continue down a slightly more interesting path, because this will get too old too fast, I think.
Right.
Oh, nice. Aliens versus Predator versus Kong versus dinosaurs versus Godzilla. Sunny day. I like that a lot. Actually, you know what? Speaking of that, the new Predator Badlands movie I think looks really cool.
Yeah, no, I think it looks interesting.
I can't remember if we talked about it on the show or not, but there's a could just be a fun Easter egg. But in the shot of the trophy room that's must be on a Predator ship or facility or something like that, they show an Independence Day skull from those aliens.
Oh, cool.
So that might be, and that's they're all under the same umbrella of ownership, so that might be fun if they do that. Yeah, Chuck already made the dinosaurs extinct. You got a good point, Jay. That's a good point. Okay, so I guess we should probably move on to the next of the big three blockbusters or the ones that are probably most interesting to our audience. Unless you had any other thoughts you want to get out
No, I'm good on that. Yeah.
Just checking. So the next movie we're going to spoil for all you out there, although I think we can kind of go non-spoiler for a little bit probably, is the next one to release, which was Superman 2025. James Gunn's entry. We got a new Superman, David Corn Sweat. We got a new Lex Luthor. It was a fun film. It had a good cohesive tone. It's kind of, in retrospect, it's what I expected from James Gunn, tonally at least. It had a decent amount of action. I'm excited. I'm excited for the kickoff in some ways, even though it technically isn't. But it's the high visibility kickoff of the new DC stuff. What were your thoughts on it? Hello.
I thought it was really cool that it was like they didn't shy away from the weirdness that is the DCU. Like they just full on embraced it and like acted like this is normal day-to-day life in the DCU. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because in some ways I feel like the MCU could have benefited from that, because I don't know, like Marvel New York City has always been kind of a fun, like anything Spider-Man could be just swinging through the street, like,
and nobody bats an eye, but in the way that they've done the MCU, everyone's kind of,
yeah. I think we're gonna have to kind of get into the spoiler territory now. So kind of your spoiler warning for Superman. Yeah, I had a conversation with our own resident super fan Jay about that after I saw the film. The message from Jor-El that definitely threw me as well. Crypto stole every scene. Yeah. I would actually, at one point, I would say that Crypto kind of annoyed me in the movie. Like, just it was almost a little too much Crypto. But it was well done. It was well done. And the final, we're in the spoiler territory, so I can say whatever I want. The final payoff for Crypto, being that it was actually Supergirl's dog, was fantastic. Like that.
Oh yeah, was
like, oh, that explains everything. Like,
right.
I love it. I love it. Like, just the explanation of why he's such a quote unquote bad dog,
poorly behaved
great
animal.
Yeah. I mean, and he's still a good puppy, of course, but right. I love that. I absolutely love that. I love Kara walking off and calling Superman bitch, and in a friendly manner, that she's going off to get drunk on a Ren Sudden planet. I mean, all that stuff's great. I cannot wait. I loved the prototype Justice League that we get is pretty amazing.
Guy Gardner was awesome. Mr.
Yeah,
Terrific
well,
was great.
Mr. Terrific stole the movie in several scenes, I think.
Right.
Hot Girl was fine. Didn't really give her much to do, but she was fine in the movie for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I guess it's a little weird to like have Hot Girl and not have Hawkman there. I don't know. That seemed a little odd to me, I guess, but it's like the second time they've done that because they did that in Black Adam too, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't she in that? Am I making that up?
Was she in Black Adam?
I thought it was Hot Girl and Black Adam, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I've only watched that movie once, and I feel like I've forgotten half of it.
So they had Hawkman, Aldous Hodge in
Oh, that's
Black
right.
Adam.
That's
Okay,
right.
so I'm totally wrong. Sorry, but I just seemed odd. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So just literally the opposite of what I just said. Got it. Cool. We're getting back to this is like preseason form for us folks.
But Black Adam is not James Gunn.
No, I think there was some. Gosh, I think there was something I saw where, because James Gunn basically has kind of said like, if it makes sense to keep it, we'll keep it, but otherwise assume it's not part of this. I want to say there was like some aspect. I mean, clearly because of the end of Black Adam, there's no way, because I mean that's Cavill Superman. There's no way they can kind of really go back to that. But
Well,
I could see them.
I read something that Gunn has a deal with Cavill where Cavill's coming back. So not necessarily as Superman.
Oh, okay.
He might be, a alternate universe Superman or something too. Who knows? But
yeah. But what I was going to say is Pierce Brosnan is Dr. Fate. I could see that. I mean, there was nothing wrong with that in my opinion. I could see them bringing that. I could also see them wanting a younger Dr. Fate. So whatever. But anyhow, about this movie,
Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate die at the end of that movie?
Oh, I'm just saying, like, you could bring back the casting without. It doesn't really matter, right? Because if that movie's not canon, you can do whatever you want.
Did he die?
Also,
it's been a while. That's how much I thought of that movie. It
was kind of a bad movie.
There were some good parts, but there were some bad parts.
The first 10 minutes of getting to see Black Adam in the modern world were pretty cool.
Right.
But about Superman,
the JSA was pretty good. I mean, but
yeah.
But we're talking about Superman right now.
Yes, trying to.
So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the portrayal of Lex Luthor was great. I mean, I don't know. When we're talking about Superman, we probably should have Jay on here too. But
I mean, he's back. He's hot mic, dude. He's ready.
Time in whenever you feel like it, Jay.
Yeah. But the plot of the movie, it was a good way to tell a Superman story, where you often run into that problem where Superman's too powerful and then they have to hamstring it or make some kind of contrivance to make it something that he can overcome. I think that's a weak argument, but I understand that that's often a problem with a super film, especially when you're talking about millions of people wanting to go watch the movie. Having him be set up and blackmailed to be a villain type character is fantastic. It makes sense for Lex's character to do that. The way that Lex did it was really intelligent and kind of played right into his strengths that he would have. I thought that made a lot of sense. I don't know how I feel about the Hammer of Baravia clone / Bizarro Superman thing. Felt a little weird to me, I guess. That's what I came away with the movie. Is that and the Jor-El message, which Jay had a great point about how they could, you have to wait to see what they're going to do with that. It's not like, I don't think James Gunn wrote himself into a corner, but it did feel weird that they had to really harp on the fact that that was a real message, and they made sure that multiple people tell you, no, he's this is why you're here. Felt strange. I loved the oh, good.
The Bizarro thing. That's comic accurate with Lex Luthor trying to clone Superman and making Bizarro. So I mean,
It is, but it's not. He didn't act like Bizarro though.
right. Although I've seen some stuff where they're talking about the antimatter universe and everything with the squares where he gets sucked into the black hole and everything. And like, Bizarro universe, everything is made of squares, and how they're like, this is probably leading up to that. So
Hey, and that would be cool. To me, it felt a little. It felt like a little George Lucas-y after Return of the Jedi trying to make a movie version of a villain. I don't know why. That's what I thought of when I saw it, which, by the way, not good in my opinion.
when he was fighting him and his costume got all torn up, I kept getting Doomsday vibes. He looked like Doomsday with the goggle things kind of half hanging off his face and everything.
Yeah. That's true
I
too.
think one thing that kind of got me about that is they telegraphed too early that he was going to be a clone with having the fortress open because of the DNA. I think they should have stuck with the key. Like the key made out of whatever it's made out of.
Yeah.
It's like,
right, because he could have lifted the key, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Like,
but could Crypto have lifted the key? Because Crypto has to haul him back in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I think that's why they did that. They did the whole DNA thing, but unfortunately for me, as soon as I saw that, I was like, it's just gonna be David Cornsweet.
Yeah.
That's who's under the mask. Like I got that as soon as I saw that part. But the movie, and I gotta agree with nostalgic pod blast there. Look, that's how my grandma in North Carolina talks sometimes, where when she's on the phone, she would yell at you. I don't know why they went that far with the accent, but I mean, outside of that, that's just like a real small nitpicky thing for me. I said before, the story itself is like if you took somebody to a comic book shop and you picked out 10 random like Superman comics and said, read these one after the other. That's how I heard somebody explain it to people. And I was like, you know what? That's exactly how it feels to me. Just 10 random Superman stories, read them back to back. So again, I love the movie, and the message thing, I'm still, the engineer being the one who recovered the message, but she feels like that's the only character that didn't say that the message was real. Like they had Lex say it wasn't fake. They had, all these experts say it wasn't fake, but we never heard like the engineer herself say it was real. So
I want to say James Gunn I could be totally manufacturing this memory, but I want to say I saw an interview with like Josh Horowitz interviewing him or something like that, where he makes a point of saying like the engineer's telling the truth. Now she could be telling the truth as far as she knows, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'll try to look that up after the show. By the way, real fast, Awesome Sauce, have a great night. Thanks for staying up late. And I love that we're giving nostalgic pod blast like PTSD here, because he said the voice of Ma Kent was jarring, and then suddenly Jay starts talking. He's like, "Who is talking? Is there a third panelist?" Oh my gosh, I did not expect that. I was just gonna say this is our producer Jay, who's always with us, and he is also, by the way, one of the folks over at Hydra Asylum Comics, which you often see in the chat as well. Go give them a subscription on the YouTubes. But yeah, welcome.
He kind of like Superman.
In
the background, you can tell he kind of likes Superman.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, you're muted.
I do that all the time too. So I just wanted to pop on real quick. People could put a face to the voice. So
right.
But yeah,
so the accents were definitely a little jarring for sure. But I'm just curious, like, do you think, we talked about the message, and Jor-El's message is what I mean, but really the message of the film is told beautifully at the end. The punk rock message. That's actually what sold me on the movie, by the way. Like I was kind of on the precipice of like, I'm gonna need some time to digest this and see like how I really feel about it. When they ended with that message, I was like, that is Superman to me. Like that actually kind of that vibes. Especially like in 2025, you know, I'm sure it's not 1960 Superman that much, but hey, it could be adapted to that. So as a big Superman fan, do you feel like this is tonally like what you wanted from Superman? Like you think this is the direction you wanted to go? Or was there something that left a little bit to be desired there?
I think that I'm the worst person to ask when it comes to things like this because I don't see a bad Superman anything. Like I've loved everything Superman that's ever been put out. I've loved every actor who's portrayed them. I've watched the freaking musical that they had of Superman.
Yeah.
I wish this movie was a little bit longer. Just a little, not a whole lot, just a little bit. And there's certain things like for me, the music doesn't really work, if I'm being completely honest. Like the punk rocker song, I know everybody loves that song. All I hear is Peter Dinklage singing Space Pants whenever I hear it. Space Pants, yeah. But it took me 2 times though. I'm gonna be like, in all seriousness, the first time I watched it, I was like, man, I really, really, really like this movie. Second time I watched it though, I was like, you know what? I love this movie. I've watched it like 6 or 7 times now.
Yeah.
Just the whole message of the movie to me, and it's always been to me that it's not about Superman's power, it's about his heart. As you know, mushy as that sounds. You know, this is a man who, when he walks out in the street, he has to make a conscious decision about bumping into people or making sure, you know, he doesn't sneeze, or, you know, Superman doesn't sneeze, but you get what I'm saying. He's got to make a decision about every little thing he does. You know, this is the man who has the power of a god, who at any moment could take over the planet. But he's just too good of a person to do that. He saves a squirrel in this movie, y'all. And that gave me Christopher Reeve saving the cat out of the tree from Superman 78 vibes so much. I think David Cornsweet did a fantastic job. And again, while my Superman is always still going to be Christopher Reeve, this is going to be so many people's Superman. And I'm happy. I'm so happy for that. I will say this too. This has actually got me a little more excited for Supergirl. And if you've ever read Woman of Tomorrow, if this movie is even a quarter of that book, that movie's gonna be awesome. I would tell people who are on the fence about seeing this, there are some people, you know, when you say, "Oh, I don't like James Gunn," they automatically assume that you're just mad because Snyder's not directing the movie. I had plenty of friends who don't like Snyder at all, but they also don't like Gunn. I'm like, look, this is a James Gunn movie. You can tell it's a James Gunn movie, but it's done in a way that, for me, is super respectful to Superman. You know, he's not the fetishist that Peacemaker says he is. If anybody remembers that part in Peacemaker where he's talking about Superman, James Gunn wasn't going to do any of that. The only things that threw me off about this Superman, though, is, oh no, the hashtag super shit. Hearing Superman say that felt a little weird.
It felt a little petty.
It did. Right. And then the part when he's talking about how I can't remember the dictator's name or whatever his name, how he like, I recognize the smell of piss. It was just a weird thing to hear Superman say stuff like that. Like it's too like it's so small though. Like it didn't do anything. It's just weird.
I thought that like kind of made him more human though, to say like something bothers him, that people say something, he's hearing something said about him that's bothering him. So, but he's not impervious. He's maybe impervious physically, but mentally he still can get his feelings hurt, you know.
I almost feel like he should have like censored himself. Like, I won't say that word, you know, like he kind of like would have that hashtag super you know, I don't even know
Yeah.
Because like
Blank
Lois
or
says
whatever.
it, right? Lois says it, and then he's like,
Well, but
"You
and
know
then he
that one
repeats it.
bothers me, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I could say I kind of agree with Jay on that one, but I will say conversely, there's moments like when they're fighting the giant kaiju, and Superman clearly is like trying to get the creature away from the city, and you know the new kids on the block are like, go for the eyes, we're just gonna kill this thing, and that was like super like, hey, I'm literally all I'm thinking about right now is how to get this thing out of the city, keep it alive, and get it away from people that are in danger.
Yeah.
That was a Superman moment to me.
I think I would have been more okay with him saying those words if in the fortress he didn't say, what did he said, golly or something like that when they get done healing him, and then he says, what the hey man, or what the hey dude, to Crypto.
Right. And
Like,
see, I almost expected that tone to stay more consistent for his character, and then it does break, and you're like, oh, okay. But I guess it's kind of a minor thing,
yeah.
in the scheme of things. But yeah, I don't know. It was really good, but I do think it very much feels like it's funny. We're gonna start talking about Fantastic Four, the first steps here. Really, this movie feels like Superman first steps more than Fantastic Four in some ways. But at the same time, I also want to say that I love the opening. It's not really a crawl, but like the opening text, the way that was done, the repetition of it had a nice poetry to it, but also avoiding the origin. This is telling you that he lost his first fight. That was really cool. That whole sequence was great. It had a perfect feeling to it for a Superman who's been around for a few years doing this at this point. So I thought that was neat.
Yeah. Richard, that's why I choose the nitpicky things, because if I didn't, I literally wouldn't have any kind of criticism about the movie. I wouldn't. I'm really excited to hear what y'all think about Fantastic Four, because for me, it was kind of weird that for once we have DC taking the lighter tone and MCU not exactly taking like a darker tone, but maybe not as, jokey as some of the other movies have been. So I thought that was very interesting. I enjoyed both movies though. Like Fantastic Four was really good. But, again, I haven't been like a hardcore Fantastic Four fan my whole life. So for me, Superman just does it for me a little bit more.
Well, I mean, since you've seen it, I mean, you're more than welcome to stick around. I think we do need to, especially with time, we need to transition over to Fantastic Four. You're more than welcome to stay around. If you also want to, take a step back, I totally understand that too.
I'll bounce out. I just wanted to drop in for a minute, talk about this with y'all. But
you're always welcome, man.
Yeah. Yep. I will be back here, y'all.
Okay.
We value your opinion.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming on, and at least we can point back to something. No, he's a real guy.
There's a ghost in our show, I tell you.
Release
the Sweeney.
I will say, to this point, Richard, no on that one, but I actually would like to see the Ayer cut, the David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. I would like to see that. I'm curious about that. I've heard a lot about it recently. That sounded promising. So Fantastic Four First Steps. We are now going to spoil the hell out of that movie. That's the newest movie. I get it. It's really only been out for a little while. So hey, if this is where you want to end your journey with us, I totally understand. We're getting near the end of the show anyway. Make sure you come back and watch the replay after you've seen the film. And it'll probably take up most of the rest of our time here, or probably all of it, actually. So, Fantastic Four First Steps. Different feeling movie than I expected. I think it's unfair that they're being compared so much, Superman and Fantastic Four. Like Jay's comparison about the lighter tone, I totally get that. But I think it's unfortunate that it had to come out like at the same time and be compared. But I expected a little more of what we got in the beginning with like the futurism and the positivity to kind of stick around. It does get kind of darker.
Was great, I thought.
Yes.
Just setting everything up.
Yeah. It does get significantly darker. after they encounter the Surfer, which is interesting. Can I just tell you my highlight of this whole movie?
Yeah.
So I have some weird issues with how Galactus was portrayed. We talked about this a little bit, you and I, last night.
Mhm.
Galactus just looks weird. That's my biggest thing. Visually, he looked a little strange. Mostly like just the human looking part of the alien. Basically, I know he's not human, obviously, but the part that it's a jaw and a chin and all that stuff. Just looked a little strange. It's like he had a little bit of like a cartoonist take on Galactus to me.
I thought they were
So
kind
that
of
scene was.
trying to homage Kirby a little bit to try to give it more of a Kirby feel to his face.
It
But
doesn't look Kirby to me though. That's the thing. That's the problem. That's the problem
yeah.
I would go with on that one.
And
But
the other like the texturing and stuff, I thought that was kind of they're trying to show that he's been changing and mutating and evolving over all these years. He's no longer the creature the being that he once was.
yeah,
But yeah.
could be. But when they escape from Galactus, the start of the escape all the way until when they get back to Earth is the highlight of this movie for me. The Surfer chasing down the spaceship.
Yeah.
And again, spoilers, please tune out. I mean, everybody knows at this point, I think, from the media that Sue has Franklin in this movie, or at least a child. But the birth sequence, and by the way, I thought it's kind of interesting because they go through that whole preparation for the mission, and then they take off. And I was a little surprised to see Sue go because she's very pregnant at that point. But that's fine too. There's anything wrong with that. She's the hero that she is, and she goes out there. But it definitely added to the stakes. But man, you got Ben trying to fly the ship. You got Johnny trying to gun. You got Reed trying to take care of Sue. You got Sue trying to shield the ship. They're all working together. The Surfer is just coming and coming and coming and coming after him. That was so cool to me. The way they use the black hole to escape and to slingshot.
They scienced it too. That's what the Fantastic Four would do, right? So.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And I thought that was neat. I love that Johnny is kind of the one that kind of saves the day, so to speak, or has the epiphany, not Reed.
Right.
In a lot of ways. I mean, Reed has some great ideas, of course, but Johnny does it on his own, which I thought was kind of neat. I still reserve judgment on the Shala Ball versus Norin Rad because I think this is going to play out differently as we see like Doomsday and Secret War and all that stuff. After seeing the movie, I had no problem with Julia Garner as Silver Surfer, but it did kind of make me, to some extent, wish that was Norin Rad, especially in that sequence, which I still love the sequence. Nothing about it being Shala Ball took away from the sequence, but it did kind of make me go like, that'd be kind of cool if that was Norin Rad. And it just makes me wonder, eventually, I'm positive that eventually we'll get Norin Rad. It just makes me wonder who's going to play him and how that's going to go. But she did a great job. People have problems with that character. Maybe even I kind of have a little bit of it's kind of strange that to lead off with that after people have kind of been waiting and salivating for getting Silver Surfer. But it wasn't her acting fault. It wasn't the writing was good. All that stuff was good for her.
Well, because of Deadpool Wolverine, we have had Norin Rad. Right?
Well,
Johnny's there from that movie where we had Rise of the Silver Surfer. So we've had.
Well, I mean, that's a convergence between Fox verse and MCU. It's not the MCU universe or whatever you want to call it. Haven't had Norin Rad yet.
Right.
In my opinion,
we could theoretically have that Norin Rad.
Yeah. Well, true. That could be other. I have a feeling it's going to end up being different than that, even. But yeah, That's kind of a weird one, but it made sense, and then it sort of made sense in the film. I don't know if this is the reason why they really did it, but as much as I like the Johnny thing, I'm not going to be unaware of the fact that Johnny being kind of a playboy kind of character or something, like he's a bachelor type character that wants to go out and score hot chicks, basically. It's kind of what I think leads him on to that path to begin with, at least in the film, and I think that worked. So it kind of makes sense. He's interested in him. He's like, hey, like, let's go flying. Like he's kind of you get a little bit of that vibe. At least I did. So that kind of worked, and it kind of made sense. I'm not naive to that. I feel like the character that I thought was gonna have the biggest problems with, and it bared out to be true, was Ben.
Really?
And it's mostly it's how he feels fake in the movie. Like literally, like his weight on the screen doesn't seem significant enough. Like, and I saw this in the trailer, like when he's clapping, it doesn't sound like rock clapping on rock. The VFX or the CGI blending of him in the background, or the lighting, or I don't know exactly what it is, the layering of that never quite worked for me in some of his scenes, like especially when he's on like the street, in broad daylight. That was a great scene.
I thought the Thing looked awesome. So I don't know.
The overall model of the Thing is fine. The actor whose name I cannot pull off the top of my head, the guy from The Bear and a lot of other great stuff too.
That scene where they have him pulling the ship at the beginning. It's like,
yeah.
Oh.
Dude, all that was great. I'm just talking about, like, literally there was like a budget thing kind of going on with him that felt weird in a way where it's almost like a couple times I almost wanted a guy in a rubber suit. Like a couple times. But speaking of the ship hauling scene, I will say I saw a bunch of but I can't pronounce that. I know Eben Moss I can pronounce. Is it
Baccarat?
Baccarat?
Baccarat.
Okay. But that scene where he's pulling the ship, in the trailer, you only get to see one little tiny snippet of it. And there's some yahoos online in our community that were like, what's he even standing on? Like, how's he even doing that? And when you see it in the movie, he's clearly walking out of the water, like he had just come out of the water. And
he's all the way. He's pulling it across the bottom of the freaking ocean.
Well, he's it's on like the
bay
whatever,
or whatever,
Hudson
right?
River or whatever. And
Yeah.
but you can tell he's coming up a hill at the end. That's why you can see him, because he's been coming out of the water.
He's coming out of the water, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like you would walk out of the swimming hole, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't have any problem with like the character of the Thing in this movie or whatever. I think he actually was pretty awesome in that role. But there's just something that I guess it's kind of an uncanny valley thing when I was watching him a few times, where it's just like, I wish I was able to immerse myself more in the fact that this is the Thing and it's a real character, instead of something I know is being generated with computer effects, basically.
I didn't have that issue with it, but my issue with the Thing was more of, he just seemed so accepting of his role in life, whereas in like the books, there's a lot of him like feeling sorry for himself for being a monster, and now he's not human anymore. And they didn't really touch too much on that. He was just like, hey, this is how I am. It's just kind of like,
I think because we're getting him a little bit further down the road, to me in the comics, that always kind of seemed to go in cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'd accept it for a while, and then he'd get melancholy about it. And I think especially with the I'm gonna forget her name too, even though we've been reminded a few times, the female character he meets in the movie, that's the lady from like American Pie and all that. Yeah. I have a feeling like some of that's going to come into play in the next film if they have a chance to do that.
Right.
The character though, who I think just had its moment, her moment. Spoiler who I'm talking about here. Sue Storm fucking rocked in this movie.
No, Sue Storm was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, Natasha Lyons. Thank you so much, Jay. She absolutely killed it. I have never experienced that level of appreciation for a character and what they can do, and their strength as in her case, like her strength as a mother, her literal physical strength, with her abilities. I know she's an extremely powerful character, and I know, like, conceptually from stuff I've seen in comics, I'm like, but to, like, she basically 1v1s Galactus, and that was dope.
I thought it was super
Especially-
cool when she made the magnifying lens thing with her invisible shield and Johnny shot through it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was great synergy. The character who is the hardest for me to walk away from that movie and feel like I digested for me is Reed.
But that's kind of how Reed is. He's always supposed to be so standoffish
Yeah.
and everything. And a lot of people they've floated the idea of, is this going to be the Reed that's going to be the what's his name,
The Maker.
the Maker, right? Is he
Yeah.
going to be because he even says, like, it's my job to think horrible, terrible things, right?
Yeah.
So but
So by the way, shout out to Damien, aka Sleep
Damien.
Reader 666. To your point about the gruff angry thing, I'll just go back to the thing for a second. I guess what I'm talking about is, like, by the end of the movie, there's the whole it's clobbering time kind of running joke, like, say the thing. He
Right.
says it in the cartoon. I don't really say it, and then he embraces it at the end. I kind of feel like we're kind of waking up into who the thing's going to be for the next film in a weird way, like in that moment, like he's
Right.
going to be it's clobbering time, angry, pissed off about not being able to be with Natasha Lyons character. The Alicia Masters thing, I am really curious about that as well.
right.
Obviously, a big part of it.
Hot Blast brought up a point about where was the Yancey Street Gang thing and everything, and Ben did kind of allude to that. He said, like, back in the day, he would steal cookies and stuff from so, and when he ran with the wrong crowd and everything. So, I mean, they're kind of alluded to that a little bit, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we're like, oh, well, hey, where was pieces of history that we're used to in the MCU
But
Marvel
the other
Comics.
thing too is, just like Superman, just like this version of Spider-Man, man, there's been kind of technically 3 different incarnations of the Fantastic Four on screen, on the big screen, and several more on the small screen. Like, we don't really need to go through A to Z on the Fantastic Four. Like, let's tell a good story. Let's tell a good, and they had to squeeze a lot in, because it's like, hey, if we're gonna get a new Fantastic Four film, we need Galactus, we need Surfer, we need to, kind of wrap it up by the end of the movie and not have it be part 1 of 2 kind of a thing. It's a lot to do. I'm kind of glad they avoided, except for the post mid-credit scene or whatever, I'm kind of glad they avoided Doom for the most part, to be honest, because it just would have been too much.
Right.
But yeah, it's figured
unsung character of the movie, Mole Man. I thought he was great.
And I love that actor. Another guy whose name I cannot pull, but I love him and everything he's been. He was great in the Richard Jewell movie about the Olympic bombing. He did a great job in that too.
He's giving Johnny a hard time about his clothes.
Yeah. So this is kind of something we were going to allude to, and we haven't really hit on it. So as much as we could gush over Fantastic Four and Superman, which, I mean, I loved it. I loved it. I've got more quibbles with Fantastic Four than Superman, but I think Fantastic Four in some ways was a deeper film. It was just kind of odd to say, but I think it had more levels and more implications, that things that will have to pay off later on. So there's some of that going on. But about, Figure Drawing's point here about, do you think Feige is upset or content with the box office? And I think we need to kind of talk about this a little bit. Like, do box office numbers matter? What's the state of Hollywood and comic book movies and all this kind of stuff going on in summer? it's a weird world we live in where people carry around box office numbers as a banner of how good a movie is.
Right.
It's strange to me. And it's strange to me in a way that's like people that like have to hold up their iPhone or their Android, or people that, you know, it's just, I don't, other things that are dichotomies where there's one side or another. I don't get why it's got to be such a big deal. And frankly, what matters to me is if you enjoyed the movie or not. Like I think Thunderbolt,
like when I recommend a comic or a graphic novel to somebody, I don't go, well, this sold, you know, X amount of copies. I don't care. I'm like, I enjoyed this. This is really good, you know.
Yeah. Thunderbolts made less than $200 million. Thunderbolts was a damn good movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts may have been, besides Deadpool and Wolverine, which is kind of a unique thing. I mean, it is a unique thing. It was probably the best MCU film since like No Way Home, probably. I'm trying to... Yeah, and so, and you know, kind of to give some credit to another movie that's on this list. I saw a really interesting video essay that kind of informed some of my opinions on this topic, that was talking about the placement of Thunderbolts and whether or not it should have been called New Avengers to begin with. And also, if it had come out before, you would have had to change a few things. But if it had come out before Captain America: Brave New World, the theory was, the thesis was, it would have done $500 million. Because the timing kind of is weird on Thunderbolts and how it played out and everything. It's very fascinating. I wish I could remember the video creator's name so I could give him credit. But I think there's a lot going on with that. But Thunderbolts made less than $200 million. It was great. It was a great film.
Yeah.
You know, you could argue that part of the reason why it didn't make more money is because it didn't have some of the bigger heavy hitters in it, of course. But that's kind of the point of the movie.
Right. Which Pod Blast, if you haven't watched the post credit for Thunderbolts, you had a question about the FF coming over. So
yeah, that, and it's still a legit question. You know, because there's a big time jump at the end of Thunderbolts too. So there's a lot of stuff that with Sam Wilson and with Avengers and what's going on in the greater MCU that's going to be very interesting, I think. But you know, Fantastic Four, for some reason, is getting picked on social media because it hasn't made enough money. That's what it feels like, anyway. The other thing I'm thinking about here is, so I mentioned before, I worked as a theater exhibition industry person for a number of years. It was my first career I really had as an adult.
You were an exhibitionist?
Yeah. The theater exhibition community is very, very strong. And things have changed. That was from about 2001 to about 2006. Things have changed so much since then. Like, especially post-COVID. There's been only a handful. People. Somebody was talking about how, oh man, you know, Fantastic Four is not going to make $1 billion, and it's been so long since, you know, we've had $1 billion Marvel movie. There's only been a handful of $1 billion movies since COVID. Mm-hmm. It's a very small list. I think it's a weird metric to like hold as a sign of success for gigantic movies. And by the way, out of the last, I think there's been $5 billion movies since COVID. And I think I'm right about this. And 2 of them were MCU movies, so it's kind of a weird thing to say, but it's just strange. It's a very strange world we live in, where people have to get in kind of pissing matches about how much money a movie made in a theater, and it's changing. It's clearly changing. Mm-hmm. People are definitely waiting until streaming, home release. You know, not a lot of people are buying physical media, but they might buy a digital copy of it. Or they're waiting for it to come on like Disney Plus. Like, you know, first steps, you know, Thunderbolts, you know, they're going to be on Disney Plus at some point. That's just how it works.
Right.
Most people are already subscribed to that. So it's, I don't know. It's just a strange thing to me with where we're at with this. And I think that in the current context of like nerd fights, it's just a weird one with this Fantastic Four Superman thing. I don't know. I guess I can't really articulate my thoughts on it perfectly, but what do you think, man?
I mean, it's inevitable, and I think maybe we're seeing, because it's been so lopsided for so long with Marvel beating up on DC, that people really kind of want to like crow, like, hey, look, DC's doing better than Marvel, which, hey, more power to them. I mean, that's cool. I mean, it's good. I'm happy that we're getting some good DC stuff, because there's so much material out there for DC that deserves to have light shown on it, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, I'm excited for both sides to do well. So,
but I guess
I'm excited with the last two movies we've seen from Marvel. With Thunderbolts and with Fantastic Four, they were really good. So, yeah.
Well, the funny twist on this argument is people can say this about Fantastic Four not making enough money or whatever. Superman really hasn't made that much money. Like, I after watching it, I watched it really early on when it came out. I was like, yeah, this thing's gonna make a ton of money. Like, it's gonna do really well.
Right?
It kind of hasn't. I mean, it's made a lot of money, more money than I'll ever make in my lifetime, all that kind of stuff. But
didn't somebody just say like, well, projected 600 and something for Superman and like 500 and something for Fantastic Four, something like that? So
I'm not sure what the actual projections are, and I would kind of be a little skeptical on each of them, I guess. But depending on box office projections are weird. But it's currently it's domestically it's not an insane amount really for either movie. I mean, definitely. By the way, obviously, I don't want anybody to hear what I'm not saying. Superman's obviously doing better than Fantastic Four, and it's on. I would say the trajectory makes sense that Superman's going to end up making significantly more money than Fantastic Four. But people are like, oh, MCU fatigue and all this stuff. Man, Fantastic Four is a fantastic. I did it. It's a fantastic film. It's great. And I think kind of what I mentioned earlier, it's got a lot of little seeds that get planted that aren't going to grow and need to be, plucked from the earth until much later on, in the MCU, which it's kind of maybe to its detriment, because the next Fantastic Four film in a lot of ways won't be a Fantastic Four film, as the credit scene kind of lets us know.
It's gonna be Doomsday, and we're gonna see them, and it says at the end of the movie, Fantastic Four will return in Avengers Doomsday. So
and Damien's got a great point there about the zeitgeist and Superman,
right?
But then again, Fantastic Four, but Fantastic Four maybe also has kind of a stigma around it after having an absolutely god awful entry in their film pantheon with the last Fan Four Stick movie, and then the other two movies I think were fine. But man, they were right on the cusp. If they came out like maybe a few years later, they could have been much better movies. But like the Jessica Alba, Chris Evans movies. But I think maybe there's kind of a reputation around them. But
hey, back in the day when they came out, though, they were enjoyable.
They were good. It's funny. The first one was really good at the time. I saw both right away. I definitely remember this. And I remember how much the second one, everyone harped on it when it came out. It was kind of a dud, really, is when it came out. But now everybody seems to look at it with like super rose-tinted glasses.
Right. Well, the Galactus scene, right? Because they even have the shadow of his helmet and everything.
Yeah.
And then it's the cloud. It's like you have the shadow in the shape of his helmet, and then that was pretty lame.
But you know, to people's credit, I think the surfer introduction was pretty good in that film too. So
Right. I was gonna say I saw a thing today where it was they were talking about what a great ambassador John Cena is for comics and everything, and that Cena is petitioning James Gunn to try to do a JLA Avengers thing.
That's
So
cool.
to what Podblast is saying there, or we're seeing, yeah, let's see him do like a revenue sharing kind of thing where we do Warner
Yeah.
Brothers and Disney work together and do something like, you know,
Yeah,
crossover
that would be
with these
interesting.
franchises, kind of nothing but cash going both ways, right?
Yeah. And also to the comment that Endgame was a once in a lifetime superhero event, and it was, but also I've said this before, it was handled so much more seriously than some of the stuff that came out afterwards, and to some extent it needed to be, but this really, like, between Thunderbolts and this feels like the groundwork for the next iteration of that, and luckily the Russos are coming back for a big chunk of that, and I think that's a huge part of what made Endgame and Infinity War and kind of the build up to that so good. And somebody else even mentioned, I think it was Jay mentioned, you know, oh well, Captain Marvel made $1 billion. Man, Captain Marvel was the biggest beneficiary of when it came out. So
Right.
talking about how Thunderbolts was hurt by when it came out and which movies it fell between, Captain Marvel was boosted to you know, faster, further, higher, all that stuff by when it came out.
Right.
Anyhow, but yeah, so the RDJ Doom is going to be
Be
interesting.
interesting to see how they handle it. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Somebody
I think
said earlier, like the scene with Franklin. They're like, is Franklin healing Doom, and did he reach out to the multiverse for the face of a hero and
maybe
Tony's
but
face? I mean, that's
I
an
think
interesting idea.
it's interesting. I mean, I've seen a lot of interesting theories. I will say it's really hard to tell in the scene, but for my gut check is I didn't necessarily got the impression that Sue knew that was Doom.
No, she's just like, who the heck is in my living
Yeah.
room? Right. Yeah.
And so because of that, I don't think that's we're talking about the multiverse, folks. Like there's gonna be some multiverse out there, there's gonna be some universe out there where Tony Stark's became Doom instead of, you know, maybe even he's Victor Von Doom and he just looks different. It doesn't matter. I'm sure there's going to be a great reason for it that gets introduced. It's going to be fascinating to see. And maybe there won't be. I still think Robert Downey Jr. probably going to bring a good performance to the character.
Oh, for sure.
So, most likely. You know, and I know he was getting tired of being Iron Man. And I know they threw a dump truck of money at him for this, but I do get this kind of impression that he was up for, like, he thought there was gonna be a challenge to why he was gonna be able to play this character is the sense I got. And every time Robert Downey Jr. has tested himself on his acting ability, it's been good for audiences. So I don't know. I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't really have like it's fun for people to theory craft and like, oh well, in this universe, Nathaniel Richards was actually Howard Stark. You know, who knows? Like, I'm sure there's some really awesome takes out there from people on that stuff. But yeah,
no, I'm sure we'll have a million theories, and none of them will be right, but they're fun to think about.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Super Saiyan 5. Can't get over the feeling that RDJ coming back hurts his amazing exit from the MCU as Iron Man. That is the one legit kind of point that I give people about this is that that will never be taken away from us, like how good that I Am Iron Man was, that moment, you know, seeing that's like a, you know, no, I am your father Star Wars kind of moment for me, which I wasn't lucky enough to see Empire Strikes Back in the theaters originally. That's kind of, I think, the next big there you go. That's kind of the next big one of those in a lot of ways to me. But I do at the same time understand that, but I think it's also possible to make it makes sense in the context of the story being told here. And the reason why is because the through line of the Russo brothers being the ones that are at the helm, like Richard just said here, in the Russo brothers we trust. And frankly, their other stuff hasn't necessarily been quite as good. But I think that for them to come back, for them to convince Robert Downey Jr. to come back, I think they probably have a pretty good idea, and I'm excited to see what it shakes out to be. But the funny thing is that as much as I've talked about how much I hate leakers, I hate all the spoiler stuff, I did have kind of a fast forward on the inside track on this, and I told you like a few weeks before the movie came out, and a couple other people I know that would back me up on this. I told everybody what the post-credit scene was going to be for Fantastic Four. Sure enough, that's what it was. Although they didn't explain the reasoning that I heard, which is that Doom needs Franklin to do something, but clearly they're going in that direction, right? So,
right,
yeah. I don't know. It's an exciting time to be a comic book fan for films.
I remember back when we had no comic movies, and that was it's a billion times better.
I know Bigby and I could go all night. I know he'd probably be willing to go much longer. Unfortunately, I can't really go much longer. I do want to say, though, that in another show at some point, we should talk about 28 Years Later and Sinners at the very least.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think those are two fantastic movies.
Yeah.
That definitely, deserve their love in this summer blockbuster moment that we're talking about here. I'll just say that I think summer blockbuster season is different these days. That's all I'll say, really, when it comes down to it.
It is different, but
yeah,
still fun.
I mean, you were talking about Empire Strikes Back, and it's funny. I showed my daughter Jaws, like I was talking about. I mean, that's 50 years old now. It's the anniversary of Jaws, and that's one of like kind of the original-ish like summer blockbusters, right?
Right.
And it's just funny how much times have changed and how much things have changed. It's just somebody was talking about, do you think the release window between theatrical and streaming is hurting movies? And to some extent, yeah, but I also think as much as this could kind of hurt theaters, as a consumer, give me the opportunity to stream the movie in my home. And I know I would pay a lot more for that. And I'd like to pay a little less than what you guys would probably charge if you do that, Hollywood, but I'm down for that. Like I don't want to go to the theater most of the time, and that's affected my ability to want to go shell out money for a lot of movies. Some movies are worth it. I thought Superman was worth it. I think Fantastic Four is a very worthy film for that. Top Gun Maverick was a great film for that. I'd like F1. I would have loved to have seen it in IMAX. Same with Sinners, which, oh man, Sinners. Shout out to holy crap, my brain today. The director of Sinners, who is a fantastic director, who also directed Black Panther, and whose name I should
Ryan
know.
Coogler.
Thank you very much. Jeez, having a senior moment here. He has a fantastic video explaining the different formats that Sinners was going to be released in. And if you're curious what different formats mean and what they are, it's such a cool nerd out, like geek out video to watch a director who knows his shit talk about the different. They released it in like 16 sub formats of like different flavors of IMAX and aspect ratios and stuff. It's really cool. Go watch it. But yeah, anyhow, I think that
the whole blockbuster thing, before we wrap, the term blockbuster from the line was more than a block around the movie theater. That's where we get the name Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Will we ever see people in line to see movies like that ever again? That's an interesting question.
It's so funny because it will happen, but it'll happen for like the reason why anybody does anything these days, which is you have to be there and you can't miss it. Things like Chicken Jockey, which it was a terrible trend, but Chicken Jockey Minecraft got close. Singing in the theaters for Wicked got close. Moments like that, the theater industry needs to embrace that stuff.
Right. We have special showings for that, right?
Yeah. It'll be things like Taylor Swift doing a tour that's shown in theaters. Things like that can still happen because people, that FOMO of real life FOMO of not wanting to miss out on the event, or like, well, if I'm not there and seeing it live or in that moment or with that crowd, in game was kind of like that. Although, you know, not really necessarily lines around the block, maybe lines around the mall. But yeah, I think that we will get there for a few things, but it used to be a yearly experience, and now
Right.
it's a rare experience. So
Yep.
yeah. That's it. I'm pretty over on my time here. I think we've kind of quickly hit on most things we need to talk about. Anything that you want to hit on that we didn't hit on, maybe?
No, it's good. Like you said, we'll probably revisit some of the other movies later.
Yeah, for sure. That said, folks, we are back on our regular schedule for the most part. I mean, there might be a Monday here or there where you see us not do a show for various reasons, but you know, we'll be back next week with another show. It's 8 p.m. Pacific time on Monday nights, Best Coast Comics, and we are streaming on multiple different channels. Bronze Age Nerd here checking in. You got my channel, Bigby McFly, the comic guy, his channel, and also the EXP, which Jay is a producer over on that channel. So go check out all those. The links for them are in the description below. Subscribe. Consider channel memberships if you want to support the channels, just like you want to support your favorite movie if you want to see more of it by going to buy a ticket and seeing it in the theaters. Hey, channel memberships are a great way to support us as we go through this thing, because hey, it's always nice to make a couple dollars and know that you're appreciated, right? Yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for enjoying this fantastic summer blockbuster season with us.